I'm James Finney, and here is your morning market brief. We first begin overseas with the major Asian Pacific markets rising for the most part, this time with Japan's Nikkei 225 index on the upside by 1%. However, Hong Kong's Hang Seng index that fell 1.34%. The major European markets this Tuesday morning, they're continuing to trade relatively flat, and U.S. stock futures that were slightly lower after the bow. The Dow Jones right now on the downside, just under 90 points. Now we had the census release international trade data. June U.S. trade gap that dropped 22.4% to $34.2 billion, the lowest U.S. trade deficit since October 2009. Meanwhile, U.S. exports, they rose 2.2% in June to $191.2 billion, and U.S. imports in June, they fell 2.5% to $225.4 billion. And at 10 o'clock, the BLS will publish the latest job openings and labor turnover survey. Job openings are expected to tick 22,000 higher to a total of 3.85 million. Meanwhile, in Europe, Italy fell into its 8th straight quarter of contraction. At its latest, GDP figures showed a negative 0.2% decline in the second quarter. Analysts, they were expecting a drop of 0.4%. And in Australia, the central bank cut its benchmark interest rate a quarter of a point to 2.5%, therefore marking the lowest level in the country's history. It's also the very first time the central bank has cut rates during an election. Prime Minister Kevin Rudd has called for elections on September 7th. And India's rupee that fell to a record low 61.39 against the dollar, losing more than 12% since the start of May. This after the U.S. Federal Reserve hinted it may wind down its bond buying program sometime soon.